Hi there, it's Sue, and thanks for joining me for Tips and Talk Day. These are bite-sized topics that I pull from community questions and things that I'm observing in the world of handmade small business. If you'd like to submit a topic, DM me over on Instagram at GiftBizUnwrapped. Happy New Year, and welcome to the first Tips and Talk episode of 2022. I'm thinking you're in celebration recovery mode right now. All the making, selling, shipping, decorating, shopping, wrapping, cooking, and partying has all been done. Wonderful new memories have been created, and now it's time to sit back and warmly reflect on it all. I'm envisioning being wrapped up in a Sherpa blanket, holding a warm mug of steaming cocoa, marshmallows included, with a sugar cookie scented candle burning nearby, of course. There's a time and a place for everything, and this is the time to refuel. But do it quickly, because I have some new festivities coming your way, and we're going to be celebrating you. Last year, I officially registered a national day honoring all the makers in the world. It's called National Bakers, Crafters, Makers Day. It's marked in the National Day archives as celebrated on January 21st. But we are going to be celebrating all month long. You'll hear a lot more about this as we continue through the month. Today, I want to share with you the development of the theme and the corresponding logo we're using for National Bakers, Crafters, Makers Day this year. I'm thinking that my experience will give you ideas on how to move through this type of a project if you're in a place where you're either creating a logo for the first time, or updating or completely replacing an existing logo. Now, I've done my fair share of logo development in the past, never using standard clip art, as you know I'm a stickler for that, always original imagery. I won't go down a rabbit hole here with that right now, but this time I approached it differently. I decided to employ a professional artist, someone that I've been working with on other projects, to do our logo. In the process, I learned something that made a huge impression on me, which is actually what prompted this Tips and Talk episode about image development. I'll share that revelation with you in a minute, but let me back up here. National Bakers, Crafters, Makers Day celebrates makers of all sorts, hobbyists and those who run a business selling a handmade product. This year will be the second time this day is recognized, and I'm bumping it up a notch. Knowing that I couldn't accomplish this alone, I recruited a committee. I asked for volunteers from within Gift Biz Breeze, the Facebook group, to help out. We're now a team 5 strong, working towards making this day celebrating you special. Our first task was to decide on a theme for the festivities. After much discussion on the background and intentions for the day, we brainstormed a number of ideas and settled into the theme of Handmade Heals the World. It takes into account the vibe we're after and the warm emotions making and receiving handmade pieces provokes. And the domain was available too. Voted in by unanimous decision, and with the help of GoDaddy domain registration, we were on our way. To work on image creation, we put our brainstorming hats on again. Gosh, I have to tell you, this is where multiple perspectives on a task brings such value. There were so many different ideas presented, some hand-drawn on paper, some screenshot images for inspiration, and even just commentary, which sparked even more ideas. Personally, I loved all the angles and variations that arose from the same base information. It was really fascinating. Next, I brought in Sonia Paz to be the professional artist for the job. And this is the point where I think things get most relevant for you. I'll share the steps we took from here with Sonia's professional guidance to get to the image that we have today. Sonia first took a look at all the ideas presented by the committee. We already had our theme, which directed the visual. As a reminder, the theme is Handmade Heals the World. Based on that, you can probably guess some of the image ideas we were reviewing. Things like a world being held within outstretched hands, a world with a heart, all sorts of things dealing with hands and globes and hearts. This is the point where Sonia said something that I've never heard before, but it made so much sense. She explained that this is often the spot where people get stuck in logo creation, thinking that the image has to specifically represent the name. Instead, Sonia explained that the best approach is for the image to complement or enhance the words, not duplicate them. Does this land with you like it did me? Images should complement, not necessarily duplicate, your business name. Okay, I get that. In some cases, the logo does match the name, like think of Apple. But it doesn't always have to. Like Nike's swoosh, a clearly recognizable image known everywhere. With this new insight, we moved to step 2, which was concept drafts. Sonia took a couple of days to let her mind ruminate on all that I'd told her. A creative mind needs time to do its thing, and I'm sure you've experienced this too. You sit down to do something creative, and the ideas just don't come to you right then and there. But later in the day, when you're doing something totally unrelated, ta-da! The perfect idea presents itself. That's how Sonia works. And with that, she came back to me with 4 pencil-sketched concept drafts. We had a Zoom call to go over all the options, and this is why I love working with Sonia so much. We both had a hands-down favorite, and luckily it was the same one. So, decision made. We had the design. Next came colors. Since we've been working together for a while, Sonia knows my brand colors and the colors I generally stay away from. But even though National Bakers Crafters Makers Day originated from Gift Biz Unwrapped, it doesn't need to stay completely true to those colors. Sonia brought forth 6 different color schemes. And I have to say, it was a tough decision. Immediately I gravitated to one color set. An hour later, I liked a different one. Then I went back to the first one. At one point, I was going to choose 2 and go to the committee for a vote. But then, again, after letting it sit for a bit, the obvious color scheme choice presented itself. There was no second option. And I'll explain why after I finish up with these steps. Okay, with the design and colors selected, now it was time to get legal. Sonia drafted up the contract for me to review and sign. As I said, I've been working with her on other things, so we've already reviewed the legal issues before. But each new project needs a new contract. I'm leasing use of the artwork in these cases. I don't own it. My exclusive rights to the design, though, goes for 30 years. Plenty of time. But the ownership and copyright of the art still resides with Sonia. Some artists retain ownership and some hand it over to you. So this is something to look at if you go this route with any image creation. Other things in the contract include how I'm allowed to use the images, the specific wording required to give Sonia credit for her work, things like that. Finally, delivery of the images was done through a shared Dropbox folder, and the image format was a .png. If you're doing a company logo, most businesses will provide you with multiple formats, but for my purposes, this will suffice. Upon signing the contract and the delivery of the logo, that closes the book for the design development project. Let me summarize these steps for you again. First, giving initial input. Second, reviewing a few concept drafts and deciding on one specifically. Then bringing in the color variations. And once all that's put together and the image is created, you finalize with the contract and then, of course, the delivery of the image. Now, let me explain to you the logo, since this is an audio podcast and you can't see it right here. If you'd like to, though, you can go over to handmadehealstheworld.com, where you'll see all the information about the day. And right there on the top sits our beautiful logo. You'll see how we encompassed the meaning of the theme, Handmade Heals the World, without duplicating the words. It's a little bit hard for me to explain here. I'd really love for you to go over and take a look, but let me do my best. The basic image is a heart, but when you look deeper, you'll see that there are multiple hearts inside the overall outline. I'm not sure yet how we'll play off that, but it presents an opportunity. Additionally, the world is represented inside the heart in different colors: blue for the water, green for land, and yellow for the sun, along with the little pink heart of love. See? Handmade heals the world. It's perfect, the committee loves it, and I smile every time I look at it. A most beautiful logo image to honor you and your special day. For more information, it's all there for you at handmadehealstheworld.com. And you'll hear more about the day in the next Tips and Talk episode. That's a wrap. I'm a get-to-the-point kind of girl, and this is what you can expect from these quick midweek sessions. Now it's your turn. Go out and fulfill that dream of yours. Share your handmade products with us. We want them, and they bring us both so much happiness.